Hey, it's Kellen, and today on Diversified Game, want to talk about coronavirus and how this can impact your business, the good, the bad, the ugly. First of all, we know that there's many people who are going to lose their job. They might lose their house if the government doesn't act fast and act better, act different, and treat this like the crisis that it is, because most Americans are not just a paycheck away. Most Americans are in debt. And I'm here in Seattle, Washington, where there's about over 3,000 cases. How many? Let's see. Just looking at the computer, 147 deaths currently, and this is Friday, March 25th, something like that. When you were staying 27th, when you're staying in the house, sometimes you're like, hey, what's the next day? But it's real. This is a real thing. And so where some of us, and I'll be honest, I was one of those like, hey, what is this, going to be? Is this going to pass by? Is this just something happening in Asia and Italy? But Italy having so many deaths, I mean, God bless them. And we have to, as a whole globe, just follow the steps, because if we do not follow the steps that the CDC and the WHO, no matter what we think about governments, we cannot, we're going to hurt other people, because we could have it be fine, which my theory is we're all going to get this thing. And I know some agencies have said that, for months now. And I've said it like, hey, there's certain things we're all going to get and we're all going to live with, and some aren't going to survive. But just because you're going to survive does not mean that you can just pass it off and be like, oh, brush it off. No, it's okay. Because what about the other people? It could be a family member. I know I've known people who have died already during this time. Don't know if they had COV. I know people who have potentially lost businesses. I know young, healthy people healthier, physically than me, that have this. And now we're seeing, all the celebrities who get tested, people are saying, hey, they have it. Maybe we all have it. I'm personally married to a physician who's in the hospital, and, she was coughing 2 months ago. Had a 9-year-old who was coughing 2 months ago. Did they have it? Don't know. The tests right now are supposed to be for those who have symptoms, and feel like there's a threat. Again, maybe we all have it. So if you have something, you don't want to pass it on. It's like having a bad business. You don't want to pass on your bad business to people. So what are some of the things that we can do while we may or may not have it, while we're in the house and people are saying lockdown and this feels like jail? No, it doesn't. If you have your lights, your water, you have family around you, loved ones, people you can hug, kiss, that's not jail. That's not prison. Stop being melodramatic. Stop trying to be a victim of something. That's the first thing. We aren't victims, we're overcomers. Period, point blank. Thank God for that. What we can do is look at what we can do during this lockdown while the government is going to send out, aid to some people. What we can do, we can read more, we can love more, we can write more, and courses and books and podcasts. You could be doing this daily. Personally, our businesses actually are not impacted as of yet with this. So we still have plenty of work, if not more work. I'm getting emails constantly. Hey, we need a consultant. Hey, we need a consultant. Just has to be the right fit, because you don't, especially in a time like this, want to sign up to something where someone else may be a better fit. You don't want to just be greedy and just try to take it all. You know what I mean? I know there's people who have been ordered to close their businesses who say, I can't afford to close my business. I'm going to keep going. And you know what? I hope you don't get caught, but I also hope you don't do any harm to anybody, because we don't want to cause harm at a time like this. But there are businesses that are going to shut down. So if you do have a stockpile of some cash, there may be times where you might want to start sending out emails and seeing if businesses need the partnerships. I don't want to say microloans, because that's something else, but you may want to look at to opening up your own online bank if you have a couple coins and seeing what you can get. Now, you don't want to be giving loans out to people who who can't pay it back, and now you're the predator. But there are going to be some businesses that are going to need money that are not going to get it fast enough through the government and the SBA and FEMA and whoever is giving out money if you qualify. But you, as a private investor, come in there and say, hey, you guys, 5,000, 10,000, 50,000 is going to shut you down. Let's, do a business partnership. And there's nothing wrong with that, to keep a business open already. Even if it's a business you're not an expert in, you're just an investor at this point. So, and this is happening globally. So, it doesn't just have to be wherever you're watching this from. I know the majority watch this from the United States and Kenya and Cameroon and South Africa when I do get the analytic reports and look at them. But what can we do is we can strategize. No matter if you have no money, you got to put a strategy. I know experts like Dave Ramsey, they're being very kind to you right now, talking about how, this is why you need an emergency fund. And not to say, hey, we told you so, this is going to happen, but there are going to be dips in the market no matter what your income is. And if you own your house, if you own your cars, if you're not having a house payment and 2 car payments, which for America, that's typical. And you're seeing people freak out because they've, stockpiled on all the toilet paper, which is useless, stockpiled on all the sanitizer, which is useless, but they've also don't have money to pay their bills, and they're now waiting for a handout. These are people making your $75,000 and up in a household. And it's ridiculous that some of you are going to get a check and at the same time be reckless and default on your loans and wait for everybody to say, hey, we'll forgive this and you can catch up, and you are already behind. You are 1 check behind. So if that was you, you need to make better decisions, and you need to have things that are paid for. We had travel personally, and I'm really thankful that the airlines and the Airbnbs are being so good. Airlines are doing the travel bank thing, so you can have your flights later. So if you fly a lot or often, at least you have something you can use for later, because you could have lost those things if you didn't buy a refundable ticket. I mean, they were well within their rights to do that. But they're also going to be looking for a bailout, so they're trying to play nice. But Airbnb, we had a couple Airbnbs for some trips recently. Actually, should be in one right now. Should be in Minnesota right now, enjoying family, friends in the Great Mall. But Airbnb, easily, hey, we're gonna forgive that. Have your money. And I had to do that 2 or 3 times because there was like 2 or 3 trips that I had planned, and it was like, okay, didn't lose anything, which that is a great thing, not to lose anything, because God willing, you still have the future to, do stuff. I've bought plane tickets for family members. Man, first class has never looked so cheap on some of these airlines. I bought one and it was under $270, first class ticket, and, very few people on the flight. I've heard. I haven't had to fly, and I'm not going to rush out to fly unless there's something that's needed. Like, there were so many conferences that were coming up. I was feeling kind of like, oh man, I just meal when VidCon, which is all the way in June, said they're going to cancel. But I expect all these summer conferences and festivals to cancel, if not have the greatest attendance, even if they've sold out or sold tickets or whatever. What can you do? What can you do? You want to have a great event. I do know former guest, the Nomad Capitalist, he had said his conference as of yet is going to go, and he's having Robert Kiyosaki. So if he does that and things, in the summer die down, that may be one I try to go to. But I have to, again, not think of just myself, like in any business, because you don't want to go somewhere and then bring it back, or you don't want to have an issue where you can't fly back. That's, that could happen. Borders are shutting every day. Planes could say, hey, we're tired of taking the loss. Government's not doing enough, because, they have their own corporate games that they're playing. So what you need to do in the takeaway is you need to figure out how you can capitalize for the future. How do you get your next business and it's corona free? It's COV-19 free, and it can keep going. Things in healthcare, those aren't going to stop. Those are needed things. And, I'll tell you guys later, but we're going to open up a business in healthcare on this next relocation to Florida. And I can't wait, to see how we can add our twist of technology and customer service and just being innovative with the medical knowledge that we have, and with that, I want to say this for all those who are watching and reading the alternative news, which is nothing wrong with that. Stop sending out these things if they're not from reputable sources, you know, because you can say what you want about the CDC and WHO and whatever government. When you get sick, these are the people and the knowledge that you guys are relying on to save your life or your loved one's life. I know that I had said something to someone and they were very sensitive, and they were saying they had flu-like symptoms, and I said, well, at least it's not the COV. And the person got very upset, and I couldn't even talk to the person because I knew it wasn't about me. And they came back later and was like, I think I might have had it. And I was like, well, I had to post a quote online by Jazzo, who says, if I love you, if I care for you, if I'm talking to you, like I'm talking to you guys right now, giving you the game, I don't care how you feel about it. That has nothing to do with what I have to say. I'm more happy and satisfied with myself to say my truth and to give you my opinion. The discernment is something that I really feel like I engage with, and I listen for the most part. Sometimes I don't say the right things, but if I have something to say to you, I don't care how you feel about it. I really don't. I care more about me telling you that and getting it off. And what Jazzo said is, I don't need your love. And that's what I'm saying. I don't need your love. I don't need your love to make me happy. I don't eat or make my money off your love. So you can just skip me with, being oversensitive and, oh, you shouldn't have said that. No, you should not have said that. And, but that's what real love is telling people that if you think you can help them. Now, if you're just trying to hurt folks, that's not love. That's, hate masked in this fake quasi love. But I want to give you guys the game so you can be working on these courses. People are making, $20,000 a month in courses, and you could be on your way to making a new business, courses, something, instead of just sitting there eating like I did for the first couple of days, saying, hey, I'm homeschooling kids. This is what I wanted to do anyway, type, stuff. And I already had the curriculum set up and gaining weight and looking at my punching bag and the exercise equipment like, I'm going to get to that one day. No, you got all these days to be the fittest. You got to be the fittest, the finest, the most read. Turn off the TV a little bit, turn off the YouTube craziness, and really tap into what can help you progress. Because, hey, we don't know how long we're going to be here. What we do know is, and we don't know if they're, fully on the same standards as us, but we know there's places in China that have really decreased. They were on their way to get some normalcy if the West, they say, my friend from Hong Kong, Amora, she said, if y'all on her post, if you guys would stop coming over here, pretty much Westerners, and she's a Westerner who's lived out there for at least a decade, but this thing in different places is being contained. And, we don't know, again, if it's the same standards or if we have to go through our whole decline to build up, and the kind of a survival of the fittest thing. But just know this: you aren't special if you don't have symptoms. You aren't special if you've survived, because everyone's impacted. When everybody's impacted, man, that we're a community. This shows that we can live or die off other actions. So take it serious. No need to do all your spring break plans. Everybody is postponing plans. Everybody is impacted. Don't feel like a victim. Don't feel like, you've overcome anything. Like, oh, I'm a superhero. I mean, I'm a superhero. I'm a real superhero. You see me flying through the the things with drones and everything. But just, be kind, be more compassionate. Don't just run off and go get yourself a firearm you don't know how to use. You don't know how to use arms. If you haven't done any gun training, this is the last thing you need to be doing right now, because you're like 4 times likely to shoot, and you might have a misfire. You might have an issue where you just, you're just paranoid. Like, relax. You don't need a firearm. Go get you some CO2 BB guns or non-lethal things. Pray more. Have some knives, baseball bat. But no one's running in your house right now. And if they did, that means your house isn't secure. And after they come in, you're not going to be there. But that's on a whole another level of security game. I should bring you guys somebody to talk about full security, whatnot. But I'm glad that, you stay tuned. Make sure, like, share, subscribe, do all those things, because people need the game. And this isn't masked in, oh, become a client of, our company. Oh, do business with us. This is just on real game to help you become a better person. People sometimes say, what is this? What is your purpose? It's just to give the game.